All right, let's get right into it. Today, we are diving deep into the psychology behind what might be one of the most freeing skills you can ever learn, the genuine courage to be disliked.
So let me ask you this. Do you ever get to the end of the day and just feel completely wiped out? Not because of the work you did, but from the constant, draining effort of trying to be who you think everyone else wants you to be? If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone.
So what does this really look like in our day-to-day lives? Let's kick things off by exploring what I call the people-pleasing trap, and you'll see just how sneakily it can take over everything.
You know, it really does start with the small stuff. You wake up, you're looking in your closet, and you're thinking, what can I wear so no one makes a weird comment today? Or maybe a friend invites you to a party, and all you really want is a quiet night at home, but you hear yourself saying, yeah, sounds great, just because you're worried they'll be upset if you don't. Each one of these moments adds up, and pretty soon, you're trapped.
And this really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? We end up living our lives like actors on a stage, reading lines from a script that someone else handed to us. We do it all for a little bit of acceptance, but the scary part is that, over time, that role can start to feel more real than our actual selves.
But why? Why are we so hardwired to do this? Well, it turns out this isn't some modern problem or a character flaw. The real answer lies in something way, way deeper. What we can think of as an ancient fear that lives inside all of us.
The first piece of this puzzle is a survival instinct that goes back thousands of years. See, for our ancestors, being part of the tribe wasn't just nice, it was everything. It was survival. If you got cast out, you were on your own, against, well, everything. That deep primal fear of abandonment, it's literally baked into our DNA.
And what's really wild is that modern science completely backs this up. Neuroscientists have actually discovered that our brains process the emotional pain of being rejected in the exact same place they process physical pain. So when you say getting left out hurts, you're not exaggerating. It literally does.
So you take this ancient fear, and then you add a lifetime of conditioning. From the time we're little, we're taught to be good kids, which usually means being agreeable, quiet, and doing what we're told. We learn not to make waves. We're taught that making other people happy is one of the best things you can be. And just like that, we've learned to tie our own self-worth to how other people feel about us.
And this, right here, is where things get really dangerous. Because when your sense of self depends entirely on what other people think, well, it's like building your house on sand. It's completely unstable. The second the tide of popular opinion shifts, your entire foundation just washes away.
So, how do we stop building on sand and finally find some solid ground? This is where we start taking back control. It's all about the journey of reclaiming your true self.
Okay, here is a super practical technique you can start using literally today. Before you say yes to something, before you make that choice, just pause, just for a second, and ask yourself this one simple question. Am I doing this for me, or am I doing this for them? And if the honest answer is for them, just give yourself a moment, a beat to reconsider. This is all about building awareness.
This brings us to a really critical idea, understanding the huge difference between being accepted and being truly loved. See, acceptance is conditional. You get it when you fit in, when you conform. But love, real love, is unconditional. It's for who you actually are, flaws included. People-pleasing might get you a spot in the group, but it's authenticity that leads to genuine connection.
Now, a massive part of this journey is getting comfortable with setting boundaries. We so often think that saying no is mean or aggressive or selfish. We have to completely reframe that in our minds. Setting a boundary is not an attack. It is a fundamental act of self-respect.
Because think about what happens when we don't set those boundaries, right? We just swallow our real feelings. But that anger, that resentment, it doesn't just vanish. It builds and builds inside you, kind of like a ticking time bomb. You have to learn to acknowledge those feelings, to give them a voice, before they eventually and inevitably explode. Okay, I know this all sounds like hard work. It is. But the payoff is absolutely worth it. So let's talk about what's actually waiting for you on the other side. Let's look at the incredible rewards of just being you. Take a look at this. When you're stuck in people-pleasing mode, sure, you might have tons of friends and connections, but how many of them are surface level? When you start embracing who you really are, you might notice your circle gets a little smaller, but the connections you keep, they become so much deeper, so much more genuine. You're trading quantity for incredible quality.
And this is one of the most powerful things that happens. The moment you start saying what you really think or setting a boundary, You find out who's really in your corner. Your true friends are the ones who stick around even when you disagree. They're there because they value you, not your agreement.
And what comes with that authenticity? Real confidence. When you stop being driven by that fear of what everyone else thinks, you become free. Free to share your boldest ideas, to take risks, and to go after opportunities that actually light you up, not just the ones you think will look good to others.
And really, this whole journey leads to a total redefinition of what freedom means. True freedom isn't some fantasy where everybody loves you. Real freedom is that quiet, powerful peace you feel when you are genuinely happy with yourself, no matter what anyone else thinks. Okay, so to bring this all home, let's boil it down into a simple, clear action plan. Let's talk about 5 core principles to get you to that freedom.
This is your new roadmap. It's simple. First, dare to say no. Dare to express your actual opinion respectfully but honestly. Dare to set those boundaries that protect your peace. Dare to just be your authentic self. And when you put all of that together, what does it equal? It means you dare to be disliked.
And I really want to be clear here. This isn't an overnight fix. It takes real courage. It's a process, and it takes time. But the reward, well, the reward is the greatest one there is. A life that is truly, authentically, and unapologetically your own.
So I'll just leave you with this one last thing to think about. After everything we've talked about today, the real question isn't whether other people are ready for you. The question is, today, in this moment, do you dare to be disliked?